All right, welcome everybody. We're live. We got people in chat already. Roll on, buddy.
Hey,
Thank
Raya.
you.
Ryan.
Adept.
Austin, what's up?
Tara.
Nicholas,
what's up, guys? So with me today are Bacon from Better with Bacon and
Hello,
Mike.
hello.
These are the writers of the beginner's 4D handbook we're going to talk about today.
We created all of it ourselves. All of that information is exclusively from our own brains and collaboration. It came from nowhere else.
A couple of geniuses here.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I was wondering if I should post this link in Reddit, but I'll probably get banned.
You need to get another shower after that.
Yes, that's so those watching, that's why my hair is a little wet. I was doing some Reddit reading, so I had to take a shower.
40 elitist called handbook. Yeah. What's up, dude? That's awesome.
That's the true name. You dare me. My account that I just created today, I'm sure will be banned. So you guys can go ahead and paste the link.
It's not even worth putting up on Reddit now because we spent the first, 2 minutes talking about how crap Reddit is. So they won't go past the first 2 minutes. That's it.
At this point, we've poisoned the well. The well is poisoned.
My bad, guys. So anyway, people are pouring in. That's in chat. That's good.
Awesome.
So I had an outline for what I want to go over with you guys.
Sure.
It's the what and the why on pages 13 and 14, and then the two chapters, the essentials of 4D role playing and expectations of 4D play. And the reason I was thinking we'd go over those is I just want to go over the basics, what 4D role play is and why we would even be interested in it, And maybe today we're just streaming to my audience, which is people who already know, but we're hoping that the stream is going out there.
Yeah, man. I mean, talking about it more on more channels is going to it'll get it in front of more eyeballs.
Yeah. You never know.
And all we ever ask, and this is, I try to be consistent on this. I think I have been successfully. All we ask is that people give it a shot, right? Like it might sound strange when you first hear it. It might sound like there are things that you want to resist, and there are things that don't necessarily make sense and things that you disagree with. That's totally okay. All we're asking is that you give it a shot. And you don't even really have to, right? Like that's who cares? Who's this bald idiot on YouTube telling me to play in a style that I'm not familiar with? But I know for sure that you really start to understand it the more you play it. And even just that one time, even if it's just for like 30 minutes, 60 minutes, just that one time will really help, crack the code on what we're trying to get across.
And not to mention the fact that, like when you play different games, you pick up certain things that you like or don't like, and it helps sort of sharpen your own ideas about games. It's the same thing with styles, right? When you're playing different styles, you pick up things that you like, you pick up things that you don't prefer, and it sort of sharpens your view of styles.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I know when I came into it, I bumped off of it. I hadn't heard of 4D yet. I've told this story before, but for the audience's benefit, I came across Shaner, watched a few videos. I'm like, I don't understand what he's talking about yet, but this is something cool. And eventually I got into a short argument with him, and he said, "You're not interested in role playing, are you?" I'm like, what? This guy, I got all mad, unsubscribed. Months passed later, and I'm like, you know what? There's something there. I checked it out again. And I guess this time I had more context or something that I could understand a little bit better. So yeah, for some it takes a while. It did for me. And that's fine.
It took me a while too. Like I first was very interested in it. I didn't have the reaction to Shaner that quite a lot of people do, honestly. I didn't have that reaction to him. He was the first person that I had on my channel as a live guest. And I remember him fondly, and we got along well enough. And I just took a long while to wrap my brain around. And when I say a long while, I mean like a year. I think I entered the Discord a year before I really started to participate. Even now, I'm kind of like, I don't really participate too intensely, at least not as much as some others. But I'm there, I'm present. And it took a good year for me to really get what it was and how it's supposed to operate, getting into a practice session, getting into some other sessions with, some of the other role players. So I'm with you on that. It sometimes, especially in my case for sure, took a little while for me to really get it.
I'm glad we're sharing how it took us a while, because I want any newcomer or anyone who hasn't heard about 4D who's watching this to understand it's fine if you don't get it right away, or it doesn't click with you, or it just doesn't sound right. It is one of those things that, you find a isolated YouTube video that explains part of it, explains a concept, or you find, a paragraph, a comment that explains it, but you don't really get the whole picture, and it's hard to understand what it is without seeing it or playing it. So
that's actually a decent segue into the why, right?
Yeah.
Because we wanted to provide something that was single, collected, and searchable. So that if you had questions, if you found a video, you could go look it up. Well, what are they talking about in this video? Let's see if we can go find it in the handbook or something like that. And a lot of these conversations, a lot of this information, and we say this in the handbook, took place once you just FKR wannabes. I don't even know what FKR is.
The Free Kriegspiel Revolution.
Oh. I've been called worse. So we wanted to make it available, but as you said, there are YouTube videos that explain a part of it here, a part of it there, and they're all across a wide variety of different channels and very quickly moving Discord conversations. So we wanted to kind of, bring it all together, cinch it up, and have it available in a singular source.
Yeah, it was. When we started doing it, it came out of basically me trying to understand 4D myself, and part of my learning process. Because when I heard about 4D from Bacon, I was curious, and I asked questions, and he turned me on to videos and this and that, and I started taking notes as I normally do when I start trying to understand something new. I take copious notes, and then I started putting those notes into some sort of order and meaning in my own words and thoughts and ideas. And then I started trying to basically use the notes, which was putting them into pretend I was going to write a book. How would I write this book? And then I passed that over to Bacon, and that was basically the birth of the handbook. But it was one of those things where I felt like I was sort of trying to catch a moving target half the time when I was taking notes on things, because you'd hear one little quippet here, and that would explain something you heard 3 videos ago somewhere else, and all of a sudden you were, cross-referencing other ideas, and I thought, this is kind of the handbook that, had I asked Bacon originally, what is 4D? He could have been like, hey, download this thing that you wrote and helped write, right? And read it. And that would have been a good foundation for it.
Yeah. And that process of writing and then finding something new and writing and hearing something in addition to what we already have, that happened quite a lot throughout the process of trying to nail all this down. There was for the longest time, the GM prep section was really itty bitty tiny because there wasn't a lot to it. And the vast majority of the Discord was very in favor of no prep or low prep. Mm-hmm. And then Dean from Gallows Humor Games had Crispy on, and they talked a blue streak about prep and how to do it and why to do it and how it's best appropriate and how to really make it so that you can recall the details at the table without having to refer to it. There's a whole long, I think it was a 2-hour stream, maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe it was only an hour, but it was long. And then we went, well, crap, we need to include this, I guess. So I linked to the video, or I should say we linked to the video. I have to stop doing that. We linked to the video in the section, and a lot of, in fact, all of what's in that section comes directly from what they speak about in that interview.
Yeah. There was a lot of times where that was the case. We'd hear interviews or hear Discord discussions and say, "Oh, we should really make that point as well," or we should really emphasize this other thing or whatnot. But fundamentally, it came out of a passion for role-playing games, a place for people to start in the 4D style and to have one reference document for that.
Absolutely. Let's see. I feel like the 4D style of play must fall upon fertile ground. My view of RPGs always felt disconnected, schizophrenic, so I very eagerly adopted it. Others might enjoy having the GM tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not. This handbook's not for everybody.
Right. Hopefully,
but
I'm muted, of course. I agree. It's not for everybody, but nothing is, right?
Nothing is. It's a style, like you said.
Yeah.
I personally think it's the best, but not everybody does.
Yeah, and I'm not a one true wayer, and you can tell from the content that's been going live on my channel recently. It's been a whole lot of OSR stuff, a whole lot of traditional stuff. So I'm not a one true wayer. I do really enjoy playing in 4D. I think that they are very intense, very satisfying, very gratifying sessions, but it's not every time for me.
Yeah.
I know that there are people out there who it is every time for.
Yeah. I'll read this one real quick and we can get on to the what, because I don't want to keep you guys here for 12 hours because I'll just keep talking. But anyway,
it's only been like 12 minutes. You're fine.
This is really the most exhilarating part of the 4D movement. A thing you want doesn't exist yet. Take ownership and create it yourself. Incredibly empowered. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Steps to 4D aren't unique, but once you click it all together, it becomes an experience like nothing else you had at a table. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that most of the things, I'm not prepared to say all, but I'll say most of the things, the ideas and the I don't know, beliefs that make up the 4D style are not unique independently. It's the way that they're combined.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just stop it there.
I
was
want
going
to
to say
add
something that I didn't know whether or not it was true, and so I decided to just shut up.
There you go. That works. I want to add, I don't want to undersell it either. Because this is, we're okay, so I'm not saying like we're some geniuses who figured out the one true way to roleplay.
Right.
But also, your game will be different if you play this way. It's not, how do you say it? It's a completely different style. It's not just an aesthetic difference in the kinds of games we like or something like that. It's really what it's all about is 100% in character or close to it,
Right.
Yeah, and you can try it with any number of systems, any type of system. It'll work. It has been done with 5e, right? It has been done or is currently in the process of being done with Pathfinder. And it's not about how crunchy the game is. It's about how frequently you're able to get into character and how long you're able to stay there. And we go through all this in the handbook. I'm just repeating what's in there, but
yeah, So Adept is interested in the basic turn. I think that is entailed in what we're about to get into, right, guys?
Mm-hmm. It can be. We'll make it part of it.
Good. Okay.
Which is totally a statement Bacon has said. Okay.
I'm not sure what that means.
Me either. I've never seen
ayahuasca is a hallucinogenic.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Component.
Yeah, no. Bacon absolutely never said that.
Make sure
There you
to.
go.
I don't even remember where this is.
Make sure to put that in quotes next time.
Yeah.
There we go.
Right.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
In 2026.
Okay. So the what? Let me see if I can scroll to that in the. Do you guys want me to? Do you want to display the PDF of it while we go through it, or?
However you like to do it.
Yeah, it's entirely up to you, however you like. So while we're figuring this out, I will say it's available for free on drivethrurpg right now.
Ooh, look
Yeah.
at you.
88 pages with original art for free. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
I don't
crazy.
hear about other books that have that. That is
Crazy.
awesome.
That page count is actually going to change. We're in the middle of getting an update out there, and there's one of the corrections is a duplicate character sheet at the very end. So I'm going to chop that off. But
So it'll go down to 87 pages for free.
yeah, 87 pages for free. I'm sorry I'm taking something away from you, but get what you pay for and all that.
For shame. Okay. Okay, I don't think I'll present it just because the formatting just looks a little weird on my computer. But
Okay.
so let's talk about the what section. It's on page 13. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about that?
No, that's fine.
No,
Stream over.
yeah, right. No, right. I mean, 4D at its core, right? It's role playing as long as possible, as frequently as possible, and that there's a lot of work being done in there, as we point out in the handbook. But fundamentally, what we're trying to do in 4D is create an environment where role play is pushed out center, and where people can, ideally really be in character as much as possible. And we get rid of all sorts of distractions and all sorts of interference, all sorts of noise, if you will. We talk about this in the handbook, that might interfere with one's ability to do that, with a table's ability to do that as a group.
So we'd be minimizing those things?
Exactly, right? I mean, this is why, the idea of not having cell phones at the table, for example, isn't because, we're Luddites and anti-cell phone. It's because it's extra noise that interrupts your thinking in character and your operation in character. So it's one of those things where, it's worth trying a game, without it, and seeing how that affects the outcome.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm putting the link in the description. It should be there now. Thank you for reminding me on that, Zonolar.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
But as far as like a little bit more of the specifics of the what, I think Adam to Austin asked about talking about the basic character turn.
Yeah, that's page 34, if I remember right.
Yep. Is that off the top of your head?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
I have the handbook up.
It's like I've been doing a lot of editing, a lot of rereading.
Oh, there's some things I can pull out of the top of my head, but pages of the handbook aren't yet there. But
yeah,
some
me
point.
either, honestly. And it's funny too, because we've worked with this for so long, but it's changed so many times and it's had so many forms. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know what's on what page. But the basic character turn is, I'll just read a little bit. It's a standard 40 practice for taking your turn is to describe where your character is in the world, what they do, what they say, and then any other nonverbal expressions or mechanical elements. And that's really it. It's where you are, what you're doing, what you say, and then anything else that might follow. Any, die roll results or something like that. And that depends on the game and who your GM is and what you've agreed to in session 0, how you're going to, do mechanics, how you're going to, perform the mechanics. But it's really that simple. Now, there is cognitive load associated with that. There's distributed cognitive load because you're going to end up in some games having to discuss mechanics beforehand, and everyone's going to have to remember what mechanics do what. When I say this, then this is going to happen. When you say that, then that's going to happen. And so there is a sort of, cross-character cognitive load that can take place. But I'm maybe getting a little bit too far to the weeds
No, you're
with
good.
that.
And it's not to say that, like, you can say the word success if you roll a successful roll, you know. But as much as you can, you're going to try to eliminate those out of character interactions, right?
Dare to Wonder made a comment. You never know. I never found myself needing to think about talking about where I am, and that's something I, up until my experience with 4D, didn't either, to be honest with you. But it makes perfect sense, because otherwise you get that floating head syndrome where people sort of, in and out of scene, where they just teleport around and there's no like physicality to the character about where they are in the scene or in the, that they're inhabiting. And those differences make for, interesting role play as well, because of those simple little things like anchoring and where your character is.
Yeah, and I'll add to that, though, that you don't have to do it every turn.
Sure.
If your character is sitting at a bar, slow drawing on whatever, a water, a pineapple juice, then you don't constantly need to remind people that that's what you're doing every time it comes around to be your turn, right? Now you can add a little, I'm sipping my coffee or whatever you're drinking there. I sip my pineapple juice and continue to watch. Like, it can be just something really small like that, but also you can just chill. You don't have to do it every time. But when you initially establish what's happening within any given scene or scenario, it lends physicality to the world, because if people know where you are and what you're doing, then they can better interact with their surroundings. Because when you tell them where you are, and this is kind of the same idea with co-creation, you're communicating to them what you envision is in the scene or scenario, which is very important, because it's the whole game is a shared imaginative experience, right? Mm-hmm. You are all creating this space through narration together. And so when you do things like tell people where you are, it's like putty, right? When you put something in a scene, you're in a kitchen, you put a knife block and silverware and a bread box, like you put all that stuff on the counter, that gives people an idea of what's going on in your head, and it adds a synchronicity, and it adds just more dynamism to any given scene or scenario for the other players to interact with. So it's not always necessary, but it's definitely, I mean, if you're playing 4D, I would say it's probably a necessity to at least establish what you're doing at the beginning of a scene up front before any action takes place, so that you have that physicality.
Yeah, I was going to say that the only thing I would add additionally was that sometimes anchoring is all you need to do on your turn, but it marks that you have a turn, that you have access to the interaction. So sometimes, two characters, there's three characters at a bar, and your character is at the bar with them, and they're having a conversation, and of course it's your turn, and you say, well, I just take a sip of my coffee and listen, right? And that just marks that, look, you have a chance to interact, but your character is choosing to stay there, so marking their location, but also marking that they're not choosing to say anything yet or choosing to do anything yet. And that's important too, because otherwise it can be, people can get ignored.
I think if you're listening and that sounds like a bit much, like what a prime example of not describing your turn too much, I've seen this a lot. I've seen it in some 4D games too, is when like you go in the tavern and there's a guy on the other side, and the player just starts talking to him. I'm like, okay, are you shouting across the whole tavern like 30 feet away? Because you didn't say you went up to him. You're on the other side. What's going on? Mm-hmm. So clearing up confusion Another way to say it, I think it's been said, increasing the fidelity of the shared mindscape. Is that the word, fidelity? I think so.
Good word.
Yeah, fidelity works, yeah.
Or resolution, I think.
Resolution, yeah, that's a common one. I think Crispy likes to use the term resolution. Sorry about that.
We got some comments. Z and oh, sorry, did I skip? Yeah, so Conway and Z kind of had the same comment. If you don't describe your floating head, we don't know where you are. If they interact with something in the room, you need to say it.
Yes, it is like that quite a lot. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good example you
Right.
put there, Z. It makes all the difference. We're not all in the same room. Sometimes the GM will just assume you are, you know. So anchoring will help with that a lot.
Exactly. So, I mean, the basic character, I've just to finish that, the basic character turn is sort of the go-to statement of players and even GM who are playing NPCs, right? It's the go-to interaction statement, if you will, or process, if you will, for playing their character. And it's an important element. I mean, obviously, we made a whole header about it.
Yes. If I had to describe what 4D is, I would describe the basic turn. That's what I do. Say where you are, what you do, what you say. So what would be an example? Like, I sit down in front of the bar. I toss a coin to the barkeep and say, I'll have an ale. That's a turn. It has all three.
Right on.
There you go. I don't think I'll get to all the comments, but go ahead.
Second Bay has a really good question.
This one?
Yeah, speaking of anchoring, I was not able to find a mention of how to move time instead of moving the players. That was a big thing for me coming from YouTube advice where the GM always moves the PC. That's a really great mention. That's a hole in the handbook, right? Because we don't mention moving time at all. So maybe for volume 2 or the advanced handbook or update, we'll have to factor it in and see if there's a way to get it in there. But that's a really good call out, man. It's not in there.
No, there was in an earlier edition of the draft of the handbook, there was a explanation that when people are anchoring, when all the characters anchor in a scene, it's time for the GM to move time, and progress to the next thing.
There.
But we thought that at the time that was maybe a bit more advanced than just the basic ideas of the style.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay. So decisions were made. Maybe they were poor. Maybe they were good, but they were made.
Yeah.
But it's a really good call out. It's a really good call out.
It's a good point.
How would you guys explain how to move time forward or do time skips real quickly? And I guess that's related to anchoring.
Yeah, I mean, like when you have the idea is that because we're not talking to the GM directly and saying, hey, all right, I'm done with this, let's move on. Then the GM has to infer intent from the players through signals. And the signaling that the players do is at the minimum is going to be an anchor. They're going to at least anchor their presence, their physicality in the scene. And so what they would do is when you see that anchoring is occurring amongst the players, then that's usually a cue for the GM to say, all right, it's time to progress and move time, and let's advance it. You wake up the next morning or whatever. And this is once again something that is about how you make shared communication occur, shared understanding occur in the table. What are the cues? What are the signals that tell you as a GM or tell other players that you're done with your conversation or your actions or your whatever in this scene?
Yeah, and to your point, and to Captain Conway's point, it wasn't a 4D game. It was Nicholas was writing a system, and it was a play test for that system. And I remember I played with, it was Eli, Z, and Nicholas. And that's kind of how we decided to do things, right? Was like when you settle in for a long-term action. And I remember when we were in a car ride, right? We got in the car, we were driving out to the location, and we were all having fun and having conversations and in character. And then eventually it was, okay, well, I look out the window and I just stare at the passing scenery, and I lay on the gas and I, follow the road, reading the signs as I go. And then we got to our destination. So that's actually a really, I quite liked that. I thought that it was very intuitive. I think it gives players time to be in the moment and to do the role playing that they want to do. And it also, it's a very clear signal to the GM when time should move.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Okay. You guys want to kind of go through those two chapters, I guess, heading by heading, just each one
Sure.
like real quick?
Whatever you're up for.
Yeah, we can do that.
We don't want to give away everything, right?
Nah,
People
there's
still gotta
secrets.
download.
There's secrets in that free tome.
There's codes and secrets and forbidden knowledge.
Rituals, not a cult.
Non-occult, definitely not occult rituals.
All right, so essentials of 4D role playing. Let's see if I can find it. That's going to be page
20.
20.
I agree, Nicholas. I had quite a lot of fun in that session. That was, I remember it fondly.
Oh, so many sessions I still haven't seen.
That one wasn't recorded. It was a play test for, or maybe it was recorded. I don't remember, but I don't think it's public if it was recorded.
Okay. I may go back and try and watch every 4D AP, or I might never just bother with it. I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot out there. Anyway, so the first heading is high trust.
Yeah, this was important, I thought, and I think Bacon agrees, to, I don't want to put words in his mouth though, but to have in this section, and maybe even the first subheader in the section, because the idea of high trust is everybody at the table, everybody you're gaming with is acting in good faith, and good faith in the collaborative sense, and good faith in the ethics sense, and good faith in any other sense we're talking about, that you can trust the other people at the table. And this is probably something that is, it serves a couple purposes. One is it makes sure that you are all sharing the same goals toward the same outcome. But also, I think the high trust also gets rid of a lot of that excess sort of noise in the background that might take away from the game. Because if I don't have to worry about someone cheating, I'm not sitting there trying to police it. I don't have to worry about it. I can trust them. If I don't have to worry about how people are going to use their abilities on their character sheet, I can just focus on my stuff and let that be what it is, and know that they're giving it their honest go. And it solves a lot of problems in that way. But it's one of those, I think, super important essentials for a 4D table. Now, I would suggest that a high trust table would be good for any game, that it's not just 4D that you could, benefit from a high trust table. And in fact, in the Q&A section, we talk about, developing that high trust in one of the questions. But I think that the idea fundamentally really sets the stage, if you will, for the rest of the ideas in the handbook.
Yeah, sounds like the number one requirement.
Yeah, I think it's if not the number one, it's certainly one of the bigger ones.
For sure.
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
say it probably starts there. I think it's the number one.
Collaborative mindset. What is that all about? Everyone works together toward a common goal. Broadly speaking, that goal should include getting into character more frequently and for longer periods of time. However, other goals requiring a collaborative mindset are discussed during session 0. Okay,
So
genre, setting tone,
yeah.
co-creation. Okay.
So the idea of collaboration is when you're working with others toward a common goal, right? And when it comes to this style of play, it's important that everybody's on the same page. So that session 0, when you talk about premise and you talk about the world and you maybe even create the world together and things like that are super important, because everybody needs to have a baseline for that shared imagined space that they're all going to participate in. And if people don't, if their character would know something, but because you didn't set that baseline, they don't know it, then it can create a lot of uncertainty at the table. So what you want is people to be on the same page, working in the same direction toward the common goal involved in the game.
There you go.
Bacon, did I leave anything out?
No, no. Very apt descriptions.
Okay. Self-reflection and accountability.
That comes in for feedback. So, look, I get that it's a tough thing to think or to be told that what you're doing is wrong. You're playing a role-playing game. It's a leisure activity. You're having fun. I get that. But the idea is that you're playing within a specific style, and everyone at the table also relies on you playing in that specific style. This isn't a mean-spirited thing. It's not to tell you how bad you are at doing the thing. It's just to sort of shore up areas where you could possibly improve, right? In order to make the experience more satisfying for yourself and everyone else. And so that requires a degree of honest self-reflection. What did I do that isn't great for a table? What did I do that maybe transgressed the session 0 agreements? Those sorts of things. And then you also need to be willing to assess other people, which is not an easy thing to do, because that same sort of reflexive, hey, I'm only having fun, don't tell me how to play, is like they're going to be doing that as well. And so it's just where to go from here. I'm kind of falling off a cliff with my explanation.
No, I think
it's good.
No, I think you did a good job with self-reflection and accountability. The feedback part is baked into a 4D style where, because of self-reflection and accountability, you're working to enhance the experience for everybody, and feedback is a part of enhancing that experience. And when we talk about this in the feedback section of the book, we give ways in which the first header there is ways to give feedback, good feedback that matters and constructive. And, it's ideas like focus on the game, focus on improving role play, focus on improving the experience, point out things the person did well, things like this that are important. And, the other thing too is that the ethos around feedback being baked into the process of 4D, to me, has always been a relief, because I know no matter what I do, I know Bacon or whoever else I'm playing with will tell me, an honest assessment of, was that, good, bad, or otherwise, or did it have, sometimes we all get in our own head. We think things about our own behavior that's not true, or that didn't have the impact we thought it did. And it's good to know those things, because it can calm my nerves anyway.
It's a relief to me too, before I found out about 4D, I'd run a D&D session. I feel kind of about it, and I ask everybody, because I'm always trying to improve. I ask after the session, what do you guys think? I had fun.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah,
that's nothing. That doesn't help me.
Here's another good point to bring up. I'm sorry I interrupted you. I
Go
should
ahead.
stop doing that. Okay. It really helps. Like you said, when you are at the end of a session and you ask players, or the players ask the GM and the other players, hey, how did I do? Is there anything that I can improve on? When you're asking them something like general and nebulous like that, and the whole time they're not really paying attention to you, right? They're paying attention to what they're doing or the turns that are taking place. They're paying attention to what the characters are doing. It becomes a bit of a difficult exercise unless something like really, really bothered them that sticks out like a sore thumb they have to comment on. You're going to get a nebulous sort of, oh no, everything was fine. And so within that feedback loop, and this is again mentioned in the handbook, if you pick something, I'm working on anchoring, I'm working on first person present tense, and you communicate that to the group, that it'll be in the back of their heads as you're playing the game. And so at the end, when you say, hey, how did I do? They have that very specific point of improvement to comment on. Oh, you did great. I have this example. You didn't do so great over here. You could have improved over here. So asking for that specificity up front to sort of set an expectation so that they have something to look for, I find to be extremely beneficial.
Absolutely. I think that's super important part of the feedback section in the handbook, that if you're working on something, you let the table know so that when feedback time comes around, feedback can be directed to that thing, and then you get more specific and I would say actionable information.
So Conway is asking actionable advice to establish a high trust table so that we can do these things.
I'm going to let Mike take that because he's the doctor. But I will say a really general, silly almost cop out of an answer, but it's been around since time immemorial. You need communication. You just have to have well-established communication. In corporate America, open door policy gets thrown around a lot. It really, truly does have to be an open door policy. If someone is upset with something, if someone needs to be told, hey, we saw you take a 20 on those cracked dice or whatever it is, cheating or whatever, like there has to be a fearlessness in approaching those topics with the members that you're playing with. And again, it's not about being mean or telling someone how you're better than them because you didn't do that thing that they did. It's just about trying to make it as high trust as possible. And communication is always going to be key. Outside of that cop-out answer, I'm going to let other people answer because I don't know for sure.
I think that's a good start. I mean, communication obviously will be the key. And part of where you want to start with the communication is by talking about with the table and making sure everybody's collaborating toward the goal of a high trust table, which is to say, let's present what a high trust table looks like. What would that mean to our table if we could do this? What kind of behaviors, what kind of things would we be able to overlook or ignore or, have time for other things? And start by setting the baseline of, the premise of a high trust table. And then what you want to do is, assuming everybody's on board, and, in my experience, that's generally true, then what you want to do is aim at the feedback that you have, at least devote some feedback to the trust level of the table. When you looked at your dice quick and picked them up real fast, when you rolled in the open, I didn't see a 10 there. I saw a 2. You know what I mean? And that really degraded things for me. And, be able to have that kind of feedback. But I think that you have to start by establishing the premise that we're going to have a high trust table, and here are the kind of things that go into that, and let's work together to sort of spell out what a high trust table for us looks like. That's where I'd start anyway.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So next is no out of character talking. Kind of getting more into the meat and potatoes, I think. Why would we not want out of character talking? Isn't that kind of intense? Isn't that a little overboard? What if...
Depending on what you're used to, yes, it's going to be intense and it's going to be overboard. And I am going to start off by relating my own reservations when I first came across 4D. And it's a lot of the common objections that you would hear elsewise. So I would say things like, well, I don't think it's really that big of a deal. It helps communicate faster. And are all those things true? Yeah. Yes. No, it's not a big deal. Yes, it does help you communicate things faster. But that's not the style. The style wants in-character play. And so for as frequently as you can get there and for as long as you can stay there at once in-character play. And so eliminating out-of-character speech, and we preface it, or maybe we follow it up in the handbook, but I'm going to say it here too. I'm not talking about not answering an emergency call on your cell phone. I'm not talking about not getting up and going to the bathroom or refilling your drink. Those aren't the things that we're talking about, right? We're talking about while you're playing. It's a game. Real life is real life. It's always going to be more important than a game. Don't ever, ever, ever pause real life in an emergency or any other situation for the sake of a game. We're talking about a game. But within that game, 4D wants you to play in character. And so that's why you eliminate the out of character talking, because the things that you can communicate out of character can also be done in character, and they're more appropriately done in character in the style.
And I think to add to that, something that I know Crispy says a lot, I've heard others say too, so I don't want to, I'm not trying to only give Crispy credit here, but is that, one out of character question sets the boundary for everybody else that out of character questions or out of character talk is okay, is accepted. And so one quick out of character thing suddenly becomes 3, 4, and it becomes something of a slippery slope.
Right.
Imagine
exactly, Z. Exactly.
Right.
And if you're in the middle of if you're in the middle of yoga class and you need to go to the bathroom, you just go to the bathroom and come back. You just do it. It's just right. Like we're not.
It is.
It's
so
not.
Funny
It's not as messy as I formerly tried to make it out to be. It's just not as messy as that. Mm-hmm. And I get all those thought processes. I get, well, it's quicker or it's easier or it's, I totally get all of the justifications for out of character talk. And I'm not telling you they're wrong. They're not. They're reasonable. They're true. But the style is an in-character style play. And so it's not reasonable in the style. That's all.
Right.
Absolutely. By the way, I kind of said this before the stream. I guess I'm leading by picking the headers, but if you guys ever want to skip around or just talk about whatever, don't let me stop you. Go right ahead. But how about this next one? Oh,
just kidding. I'm being a jerk the whole time. I've been just a complete jerk.
No.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, how about this one? Pick the right system. We've had some questions and objections about that.
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about picking the right system, there generally are systems that are easier to use this style with, and other systems that fight you more. It doesn't mean you shouldn't take your favorite system and do it. Like, that's not what we're saying at all. But it does mean...
in fact, we are saying do it. Take your favorite system and do it, whatever that system is.
Right. It's just that the system itself might need a bit more at session 0 or during the feedback times to make it work in the 4D style. It's not impossible. It's just at times could be more difficult, could impose a greater cognitive load on the table, but give it a go. But the idea is that, everybody wants to be aware of the system they're picking and what it's doing for the table, what its strengths and weaknesses are as far as 4D goes. And then with that attitude, have at it. Now, we make recommendations based on what the 4D community has successfully used in their games, but that's not the only systems you could play.
I agree, and it's oh no, I'm losing my train of thought. What were we talking about?
We're talking about choosing the right system.
Yes. So the more familiar you are with a system, the more likely you are to be able to implement a new style of play, 4D or otherwise, successfully. So if you know a system really well, there are people who know Dungeons and Dragons 5e out there, and I know there's I knew we were going to get like shock and horror because we mentioned 5e, but like it's been done before, right? The people have 4D'd in 5e, and it's really a matter of system familiarity. If you have a favorite system out there, if you love Draw Steel and you know those rules, 4D it, man.
Yeah.
If you know Harn of all games, if you know Harn and that's your favorite game and you know those rules, I would actually love to see a Harn in 4D. I think it's doable and I'd love to see it. But like, do that. If it's Pathfinder, if it's 5e, whatever complicated, crunchy system you like and are familiar with and know the rules of, it'll work. But there are also games that give less resistance, whether they're for new players, like Easy D6 is a very common, popular answer to what game are you guys using. And that's because it's very quick to learn. It's beginner friendly. There's not a lot to it, and it definitely facilitates well, right? But if whatever game you know, that's the one to be doing it in, because it's going to help you get into a new style. Again, 4D or otherwise.
Absolutely.
So the things you want to consider are, what games do you know your table's comfortable with? Cognitive load. So like I enjoy playing Easy D6 because I just roll and then I just keep going. I forget about it and I just go. But I also enjoy playing Mithras, where I've got these different combat special effects that makes the combat feel more real to me, but others might not enjoy that because of the cognitive load. And you might, if you haven't mastered it, you might end up pausing for 30 seconds before you go on in your turn. So that's another consideration, is your cognitive load. And then there's some that are more above the table, a bit more, if you have like certain maybe meta points or things, those have been used in 4D games, but there's certain things that might take you out, certain mechanics that might take you out.
Well, any game that's forged in the dark with like flashbacks can be a really tough nut to crack with staying in character. I think there are ways to do it, but I think that it's going to require a very well thought out session 0 to really qualify all of the different mechanics for flashbacks, when you initiate them, how you initiate them, that sort of thing. But that all happens above the table. That's a discussion between a player and a GM where they say, hey, I want a flashback because I want to put this thing into the scene. I think it can be done, but it's also not like out of the box ideal, because it does require a little bit more thought in order to kind of, bang on it to make it fit.
Yeah. And basically, when it comes to cognitive load is alleviated through what we talk about in the handbook with automaticity, the degree to which you just know without needing additional, mental resources, the procedures, rules, and mechanics of your game. Whatever your table is chosen goes a long way in allowing that 4D to be a viable style.
Right.
Space Rarity said, I think it's a great comment. You can ride a unicycle uphill too, but there's better tools. I totally agree with
That
that.
was funny.
There are going to be better tools for any given style, right? Like,
Right.
can you 5e? Yeah, and I'll tell you what. If you're more familiar with riding a unicycle than a two-wheeled bike, you're probably going to go up the hill faster on a unicycle than a bike. But this is all pretty well subjective as far as preference and levels of automaticity and cognitive load and what the group wants. It's blah 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 blah. But whatever you're familiar with, I'll stand by that statement. Whatever you're familiar with, that's probably the best one to do it in.
Absolutely.
It's a decision you and your group got to talk about, weigh the pros and cons, and see what you want to do.
Mhm.
Right?
And then commit to it, and then really go for it. You know what I mean? Like, then really have at it and enjoy the experience that you're aiming for, because ultimately that's what it's about, right? You're trying to have a given experience together, and if you achieve that, then that's a great thing.
All right, you guys, you want to go on to the next chapter, Expectations of 4D Play? I realized I was just looking at it. There's a lot of, what do you call them, subsections in here.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
There's a ton of subsections, yeah, and I think going through those chapters, that's where the meat of the book is.
Mhm.
And going through those chapters header by header is going to take a lot of time, and also go download the book. So there.
Read
But
it.
that's really where all of the more, we'll say, smaller and more particular practices of 4D are mentioned, that really kind of help shape the style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, you absolutely should go ahead and download and read the book. And what I did, I got a PDF reader to read it to me, all in one sitting.
That's awesome.
It's not too burdensome to read all. It's a pretty quick read and really good. So
Cool. That's a good idea.
Are there any of these headers that you guys want to touch on? We could skip around if you want.
Sure. I mean, one of the things that I think is worthwhile, I'm on 38 if anybody's following along in the handbook, is the limit turn length. The idea that 4D turns are quick and punchy, and because there's the basic turn, they're sort of to the point, if you will. And as a result, that has some carry-on effects that I think aren't fully appreciated. One of which is that you get more turns because everybody's turn is quick, punchy, to the point. So you get more turns as a result. And the other benefit I see is that it has more impact in the scene, whatever that scene's about, whether it's combat or social scene or what have you. There's more impact because you're having more turns, because you're doing that basic character turn, and you're communicating to everybody in that shared imagined space your version of what's going on. And I think it creates a very vivid experience.
Yeah, if you ever watch a 4D actual play, it just means people playing in character. You see these short turns, 5 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. That's a whole turn. Then you've got maybe 3 players and a GM. So it's your turn again, like you said, real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, So you see these. Maybe we've been in games in the past where we have to wait 20 minutes before our turn again in a combat. That will never, if that happens in this kind of game, we're
dragging you straight into the feedback session.
Yeah, I'm gonna drag you on the back of my truck. No, just kidding. We're dragging you to the feedback session.
Yeah.
Right.
And then one of the things I'd like to talk about are the trade-offs and pitfalls, which is almost risen to the top as my favorite chapter in the book, because it really discusses the very real, like these aren't just things that we made up. These aren't just things that, well, maybe someone could say this about the style. These are actual things that we've either heard said or have said ourselves when learning the 4D style. And they are, I think, very important to be mindful of, right? Like if you are someone who likes rules foregrounding because you like to see how the different rules interact with one another, you like layering mechanics on top of each other in new ways, interesting ways, then 4D is going to push back on that hard because it likes to background mechanics. It's not to say you can't do it. You're just going to have to make that trade-off. And then there are some pitfalls regarding, you know, certain things that you can definitely avoid when attempting 4D or when playing in 4D. I really, really like that chapter because I think that it really grounds the rest of the book. It makes it very real and very approachable. Like, hey, we know there are going to be some trade-offs. We know there are going to be some pitfalls. So we try to provide solutions where we can. We also don't claim to have put everything in there. There are going to be some novel pitfalls that people encounter because of the nature of the hobby. There's a whole bunch of different people, a whole bunch of different personalities playing at a whole bunch of different tables. We have no idea what they're going to encounter. But, and this is again where communication is key, you really kind of have to make sure that you have those open channels of communication that are honest and non-hostile. And that will really kind of help you overcome those. But we get it. Like, this is not a standard way of playing. We get that it's unusual. We get some of the things are very viscerally reacted to negatively, because even a hint of the suggestion of no out of character talk can send people running. Hey, your trumpet, what's up? But like, we get it. We get it. It's non-standard. But it could be, you know, it could be your new favorite way to play if you just give it a shot. And you don't have to, like, but it maybe it is. Who knows? You don't know if you like it or not until you try it.
Right. The other pitfall that I wanted to bring attention to there was the self-policing one. One of the things I experienced, and in talking to others was pretty common, was the idea that you're sort of filtering everything you're about to say to the table through this, you know, miasma of 4D, and so what you do is you have like one mind focused on the scene and another part of your mind focused on filtering what you're about to say to make sure that it accords to 4D, and that absolutely can be taxing. And you know, with practice, I think it would get better. But one of the things that is pretty a usual pitfall is that self-policing element.
I, to this day, do that.
Yeah. When you start, it could be really tough. Like I would often say, you see, I'm like, oh wait, how do I want to say that better? You know? And like you said, as you have to practice, keep practicing it.
Yeah,
and you know, that's a really hard thing to change. The you, saying you. I GM'd for the first time in a very long time when we were playtesting Nutshell, right? So we all did a round robin, and I stepped up to GM. And there's an outburst that I had in the middle of play. I said you, I stopped, everyone laughed, and then I said, damn it, but then I kept going forward because it was a funny thing in the moment. And does that make that game not 4D? No. It's just a funny little foible, right? And so don't, like, the table 4D is as forgiving as the table is.
Correct.
Yes.
So it's not about holding yourself up to a standard that's in a damn handbook.
Right.
It's about playing the game in a style with your friends who are at the table. And if they are forgiving, then so is 4D.
4D has been described as aspirational, right?
So there's many parts of it that are, right? And you know, I think we say in the handbook, I just don't know off the top of my head where, that, you're gonna get things wrong even on your best day. Like you just will. You talk to any people who've been doing it a long time, and they still do things, wrong occasionally or even consistently, that they call themselves out for. So it's not yeah, it's not uncommon.
Uriah was there. It was really
Uriah was there. It was funny.
It was very funny.
I wanted to bring attention to Z's comment about enjoy the silence. I'm so glad this was in the book. Page 51, if people are looking around. Yeah, this is something that we felt was important, because when we're talking about, GMing 4D, we're distributing, if you will, the load of the game onto players and GM all together. And so it's important for the GM to leave a lot of space for the players to, try to achieve their goals, to move through scenes, to do what they're going to do, and have the volition and capacity and time to do it. So this was a part that we both felt was important to include, even though in some respects it might have been easy to overlook.
Also, this is a Depeche Mode reference. I'm very happy that I worked it into the handbook.
Very nice. I enjoyed Depeche Mode from my sister. She's 11 years older than me. But I don't know all of it, so you'll have to send me like a playlist or something.
Oh, sure, I can send you a playlist. But Enjoy the Silence is it's a very, I think it definitely topped on charts. It's a very familiar song.
Wait, maybe I know that one. Playlist. Okay. Anyway, Enjoy the Silence.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, please.
I was searching for something to say. So.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna make something up.
One of the things that I think is also sort of a valuable, chunk in the main meat of the book, right, is this idea that you're not going to have turns by committee. The idea that a given person's turn is their turn and their character, and they're going to do with it what they're going to do, and other people's input is largely unwelcome. You know what I mean? The idea that they should be able to, if they want to, go stab the king, then they're going to stab the king. That's going to be what they do. There shouldn't be this long discussion about, well, you should do this and should say this and, this and that. No, the person owns their character and their turn, and that's an important boundary to have.
Absolutely. I won't be immersed if play stops and we have an out of character discussion about what's the best strategy.
Right.
It's very out of the table.
Right. You can take that strategy talk in character, but you can't do it if you're trying to strategize about how you're going to talk to the king. You don't want to do it in front of the king.
And yes, and think about how many movies you've seen where the characters are planning something together and they don't have perfect information, and they have a time limit, so they don't get to finish, and you just see how it plays out.
Absolutely.
All right, let's see. I think these are references here. Anyway.
When the book hits bestseller, we'll have a Black celebration. I think we have a long ways to go.
Yeah.
You're muted, Bacon.
Let's see. I think that covers the gist of it. That if you had to explain, before I go there, any more. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was getting so happy about these Depeche Mode references, and I was muted the whole damn time. But thank you, Space Roadie. I appreciate it. Sorry for interrupting you. Please continue.
You're good. Any other headings or anything you guys want to hit on? Because I was just gonna summarize what 40 is, I guess.
I mean, I would encourage people to read the book, and if there's questions, specific to the book, certainly reach out to Bacon or I. And if there's questions about 4D in general, reach out to the community. I have found the community incredibly helpful and frankly quite kind when it comes to any errant question I have. So I would expect that other people would have the same experience.
Yeah, you come to the 4D Discord, or if you ask Crispy a question in his comment section, people are more than willing to take time, answer your question best as they can, give you resources. Crispy will even make a whole video for your question sometimes.
Yeah.
We just want more people to 4D roleplay. So,
yeah, and also go check out Roll On Buddy. Uriah has a really, really solid start to a series on some of the elements that we talk about in the handbook. Really, really great series.
100%.
It's a fledgling series. It's a nascent series, but I think that it's gonna go far. So please check that out.
It's terrific.
I love this so much. Edit. RTFM, my brother.
Yeah, quotes and page numbers.
Have to ask a question in character though. Otherwise, whoosh, no.
Yes.
All right. So the gist of the whole handbook, what would you say? Like the main, if you had to describe what 4D is just quickly,
so
how would you do so?
I would say, I mean, the go-to is to say, in character as frequently as possible for as long as possible. But I would say that the 4D book as a style is really about everybody having an agreement on the experience they want to get out of their game. And this book is about some ideas that you might implement to get the experience everybody's shooting for, and thereby have a more enjoyable time by getting that experience.
I agree, and I will do this. I will say that our fallback of being in character as frequently as possible and for as long as possible marries up well to what you like to say, in that it's saying where you are, what you do, and what you say. And so doing all those things in character as frequently as you can and for as long as you're able is, I think, a pretty solid, nutshell, explanation of what 40 is. I feel good tonight.
You're
I'm
doing
relaxed.
it.
Work's over. It's the weekend.
You're full of puns.
I'm making puns. I'm just going to make the puns. That's who I am as a person.
I'm glad you're feeling good, Bacon.
Absolutely.
Oh, we got lots of music in the music channel. Okay, anyway. Nutshell, so that's a good segue. We are planning on demonstrating the Nutshell RPG. So we'll do a little one-shot.
Yeah.
I think we decided I'll GM it. Just have a short little scenario so people can see. Try to demonstrate every part of the system in it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a date yet, but I'm looking forward to that with you guys.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good.
Me too.
Yep. We've had a number of experiences with Nutshell in playtests with various groups, and it's been enjoyable every time. So I think it'll be fun to watch and fun to do.
What kind of genres did y'all do? What kind of games?
There was one cyberpunk, there was one fantasy, there was one modern that was set, I think it was like the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, maybe mid to late 70s. I can't quite remember. But there was that it? Were there 3? Were there 4? I don't.
There was a vampire one.
Oh, there was a vampire one, and there was another modern set one, and it was definitely modern.
Yeah.
So not mid 70s, but more 2020s.
Yep.
Nice. I think a lot of 4D games, we really like our modern settings and like our crime, like our our
hard-boiled
Vice
noir, sure.
City. Yeah, that seems to be popular. I enjoy that. For me, I think I'm gonna do more or less like fairy tale kind of thing.
Cool.
Smash between, I don't know, Narnia and Lord of the Rings, something like that, I was reading through and I saw there's magic section, so let's do something with that.
Awesome.
I'm in.
Dare to Wonder, you want to play in Nutshell. Are you in the...
Yeah, he's Valor
zone?
Blaster. He's vetted. He recently got vetted. Valor Blaster.
You're Valor Blaster? I don't know. Man, I had no idea. Oh, wait. I had forgotten. Okay. Yeah, we should get you in a game, man. That would be awesome.
I agree.
I think that wraps it up.
Yeah.
Unless
And Z, it looks like Z wants to play too. I mean, hey man, you're running the game. I'm happy to sit at a table with whoever.
Exactly.
So bring Z in, bring Valor Blaster in. That's cool with me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's up
And
to
we'll yeah, I'd be down with that. If you guys, we can have Valor Blaster.
I mean, I'm not trying to pressure you. If you just want it to be 3 people, if that's all you planned for, cool. But if you're cool with more people, I am also cool with more people.
I am too. So I'll send you guys the description of the scenario I have, and then we could talk about what we like, what we don't like.
Yeah.
Get ready for that.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. This has been great. I really dug this. Thank you.
I
Yeah.
really enjoy it.
Oh, I enjoy it too. It's what else to say? It's a really good book.
Thank you.
Everyone should read it. Like I said, you could put it in a PDF reader, read it in one sitting. It answers a lot of those what if questions that you get when explaining 4D that we didn't have time to go through here. It's an invaluable resource for anyone who's interested in a in-character immersive role-playing game. So,
Well said.
all right, y'all. I think that wraps it up. So we'll go ahead and head on out. Thank you guys for watching.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, take care, everyone. Have a good weekend.